Hi kids, this is your superpower kid, Neva Lee Recla, and today I'm so excited for what we're talking about and who we're with. We're going to be talking about cooperative business for kids, and I think it's so important that not only kids learn this, but adults do too, because I think it's important to have a good mix between being cooperative and also being a little bit competitive. Yeah, that word. And I think that it's so important that people just learn, and especially in their business life, to cooperate with others and just like have everyone kind of leads themselves. And that's what we're doing with Superpower Experts. So we're talking with one of the most amazing people, and he knows a lot about being cooperative. And his name is Berny Dohrmann. And Berny is an entrepreneur, author. He's the chairman of CEO Space, which is the leader of entrepreneur education and cooperation. It's in 140 different countries. And fun fact, that's where I learned how to do all of my business. So please join me in welcoming this amazing being, Berny Dohrmann. Hi, Berny.
My Neva, I love you. I'm so glad to watch you interview all these superstars, famous people all over the world. You're building one of the greatest libraries that MTV has to pick up and put on air. You're perfect for it.
Thank you. And I've been talking about having you on my show forever. I'm so excited that it's happened.
Me too. Well, a couple of times I had speaking engagements. I apologize. We had to cancel. So we're on stage. I just got back from the United Nations and speak all over the world and love being on your show more than anybody's. I'm your backup daddy.
Yes, you are. And you are super amazing. You're super busy. And I just love your energy. And so this is why I'm so excited. So, Berny, what are your superpowers?
Well, one, I think I have a gift from being an investment banker and economist, running the #1 Forbes Inc. magazine help business program for 30 years, to help dreamers to get their dreams, whether they're billionaires in the middle, starting up, to shrink time, shrink cost to get what they want as goals done. So we accelerate their goals in life, and we do that, I think, which is wonderful. We also are the facility that is helping governments, nations, to refinance their sovereign debts, etc. And I love that. And then we empower kids. You know the program we have for youth, for teens. You've watched it, you've been in it, and you see miracles happen. So when I'm on CBS or NBC or ABC and they say, what's your #1 accomplishment, with this huge list that you'd get from a Jeff Bezos or a Tony Robbins or the best in the industry, and I always say, my youth programs for the kids is my #1 legacy. And, you guys are going to make businesses that are cooperative and not competitive. And those businesses are passing all the others like Apple and Amazon. And they're just cooperative-based, industry-based new models. And people thrive in those environments. And kids want to build their dreams cooperatively. You guys do it online and anyway. And you can't stand competition. You just drop people out when they're that way. And so I think the future is all you guys and your generation getting rid of the competition mistakes we made, including competing with the planet that screwed up the whole environment.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think that it is important, though, because I think that sometimes being a little bit competitive is good, just so that way you can learn, and you can have fun. Because I know there's a exercise at CEO Space that we do, and basically you have to steal See Me cards from people. And we talk about at the end how it feels to go up and talk to them.
Yeah, but remember, we do that and a number of exercises to show how toxic and awful competition is. And the kids get it right away, and they leave and will never do competition. They just can't stand it anymore. So we demonstrate that competition is a first form of human insanity. When you're older, you'll read my book, which you can have mom and dad read out loud or whatever, but it's called Redemption, the Cooperation Revolution. And you could come out with a line under that that was Redemption, the Cooperation Revolution, as children books, that had images and characters, make a television show, and start putting cooperation out in a series in the language of your age group, where the images and the characters started to show what we do in Implosion, that
Yeah.
when you see competition, you can't stand it. And the kids start saying, you can be in our group and you can be together in our tribe as long as you're cooperative and self-correcting. But if you start to get competitive and
start to go away from people.
Yeah, is it win-win or is it I win, you lose? And we don't want the first form of insanity, competitive impulse in our brain. So if you all go to Amazon and get Mommy and Daddy, Redemption, the Cooperation Revolution, you're going to change lives. If you want to read your kids a version of that, get Perfection Can Be Had. And that book is like chicken soup you read to your children. And everybody in families that reads that book just needs a little handkerchief, because the miracles that come pouring out of your eyes are in every short story. They're very short stories for bedtime. Okay?
Yeah, that's awesome. So what does cooperative business mean to you? Like, besides just having a cooperative business, but what does the deep down cooperative business mean to you?
Well, I think that we're spirits, and I think that if we're immortal and divine and we're going to be together for all eternity, it's kind of insane to try and hurt another spirit or beat another spirit. We lift each other up. And so, it's spiritually essenced, but in structure, it's pyramidical structures of competition are fear, punishment, exploitation, which are really a feudalism. We're still taking over castles. We don't do it with knights. We do it with attorneys and corporate takeovers. But, we're under attack and all that all the time for mindless greed, really. And so cooperative capitalism, which is in Redemption, talks about how we get rid of consolidation of wealth, because that's insane. 1% of humanity shouldn't own more wealth than 99%. It should circulate so the 99% get out of poverty and come up in the world. There's nobody left behind, no nation left behind. And we can't do it if everybody's in it for themselves for maximum greed. Also, you can't have speculation in markets, which gets to be a little over kid space. But in economics, you can't have more money in side bets on which way something's going to go for profit. It manipulates all the pricing. So you need to have a market of real circulation that gets rid of, criminalizes speculations that are just greed and don't add value for jobs, employment, and futures, and also a good environment so we can afford to have a friendly relationship with the planet instead of an insane relationship where we're doing things that will kill us all for profit. I mean, there's a better way of doing it, and the cause is competitive organization theory. So that's always going to create this kind of corrupted system. And we can get cooperative capitalism to replace these broken models. And it's not going to take long. We're going to have a better world. It's coming. We're kind of a world revolution that's remaining out front and leading a world revolution that doesn't have armies and doesn't have bloodshed. And then we try and remain invisible while leading out front. So all our ideas are someone else's and they adopt them as their own. It's always the best way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I want to jump in as well, as I think that having a cooperative business is also a way that you can learn different life skills, Look
what's happened to you. How many people have come into you? You've attracted them like magnets. Yeah. Once you're cooperative, you don't have to work at getting it. It comes to you. You've watched it. If you stand still, they're all coming up to you, because of the nature of what you're building. And you've built, how many businesses have you built now?
I believe 7 or 8.
7 or 8. And you started your first one when you were how old?
2. And we can get
it was a real business, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got to go.
We have to do a quick break. But first, where can people go to find out more about you?
CEOspace.net. CEOspace.net for networking. Never forget that. CEOspace for .net. Look at the films online, and there are films for mom, for dad, for professionals, people in business, and for all of you teens and children.
Awesome. Definitely go check it out, because Bernie is amazing and CEO Space is amazing. So we've been talking with Berny Dohrmann about cooperative business for kids. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/the-net to learn more.
Okay, we're back and we've been talking with Berny Dohrmann about cooperative business for kids. So Bernie, know what we have to do?
Yeah, everybody watching this has to phone MTV and email them and say, Neva's show has to be on MTV. You should have millions watching your show. You know, you're getting the best minds in the world. If I coach Tony Robbins, Jack Canfield, Mark Hansen, all the thought leaders and my friends, and I love them, and they coach me back. I mean, you should have all of them on your show, and you should be on major broadcast. I mean, you should have your show up and running. We got to get that going. And hey, everybody circulate this. Get it out to your list. Viral it to the kids at school. All you kids, viral it. Get all your kids going. So 1 million are clicking this. All it takes is you. Viral the show. It's the most important show in kiddom.
Well, thank you. And Bernie, we have to do funny face time.
All right. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I think I am.
Okay. We have to make our funniest faces in 3, 2, 1. That was good.
I think I did good for the chairman of a company in 146 countries, ranked number 1 by Forbes, Inc., and 22 other press in 2018. 19 will be number 1, too, and beyond. And this is for you. My funny face. Chairman can be funny.
Yes, that is very true. And I have a couple of other questions for you. So the first question is, what were you like as a kid?
Well, you know, I tell you something, and I really thought about this. I didn't know you were going to ask that question, but I wasn't like a lot of kids. I was like you, and I was precocious, where you sit with the adults and you're very serious, even though you're funny because we have a lot of fun. But you ask very adult questions and you participate, and they treat you like an adult. I was like that at 7, 8, and 9. I was sitting with Napoleon Hill. I was sitting with Jack Kennedy. I was sitting with Walt Disney. I was sitting with players you just can't imagine, like Martin Luther King. And so to be in these meetings of thought leaders in corporate, John Gallagher, chairman of PepsiCo, and the biggest players in the world like Walt Disney, and listen to these discussions and be part of Napoleon Hill, sitting with him. He worked for my dad's company till he died. So I didn't realize they were mentoring me and I'd be so special. You don't realize I'm mentoring you and some of the thought leaders are mentoring you, but you will later. You'll be so grateful for the people that helped you get all your power, but you had it to begin with. So I think you were a very old soul that came in to change the world, and I am too. I'm just actually a very old dad now and grandpa as well.
Well, that's really cool because I had a feeling you were like me.
Yeah, I think like you and ask questions like you. That's why it's so much fun to help you, not have anybody hold you back. Like when you had the clothing company, people were dissing some of the stuff. That always happens when we're ahead of markets, when we're pioneering and we're out front. You know, people will throw arrows at you, but you have to never worry about that because you're ahead of where it's at, and they'll all catch up. And Jeff Bezos, when he sold books online, he never thought he'd be the biggest retailer passing Walmart and every other place, but he is, and he hasn't got any end point really. It just keeps growing because he's serving the customer, doing better things for them. And so when you find ways that can do better, like you did for the kids in fashion, it has a life of its own, and the kids loved it. The only criticism came from grandmas and people who didn't get, it's okay for kids to look hot at 7, 8, and 9. So you had hot fashions for young kids. I think that's hot. They're doing it anyway, but you had a line for it. So I love that you invented that and made a whole line. I mean,
Oh, thank you.
you should have people around you like me saying, oh, that's great. That's fabulous. No one suppressing you. And so many adults have given up on their dream. The sorriest place for an adult, Neva, is they get to a point of compromise, and they're in a marriage or they're in their dreams and they're compromising on doing their dreams in relationship and in life. Or they get worse. And the worst, which is most people, are in resignation. They've resigned from their dreams in relationship and life. Take the next moment and upgrade yourself and get out of resignation or compromise and do your dreams. Do your dreams. And I just give you the power. And if you do that, if we did that on this, it's going to help you. And always forgive as a kid if you've got elders who aren't seeing how great you are. They just don't see and understand. And they have limits that you can't ever judge them. Just they're not your support group. Find and adopt the parents, the uncles, the aunts who, like me, will say, oh, that's a great idea. How do we make that work? And I can give you an example.
Yeah. And I think that it is important to do your dreams, and even if you don't find it immediately, just keep on working up to it. And because
if you ask, you'll always find it. Yeah. And
even if it takes 2 years.
At the end of your life, you don't pull yourself off the hospital bed and say, I wish I could watch one more episode of SpongeBob. Nobody does that. You pull yourself off that and you don't say, I want to watch one more of these sitcoms. You pull yourself up and you wish you had more time, not to spend time on the beach with you, Neva. We had enough time during our life, not to smell roses. We smelled enough roses. You pull yourself up and say, God, give me more time to do my dreams, because you see, you squandered your lifetime because your dreams are your sacred garden you take to the other side. And those that are doing their dreams, no matter how they turn out, they have no regrets. And those that are at the end with regrets wish they could do their dreams. They see it then. So if this woke you up inside yourself, all of you children, don't ever compromise or get resigned on your dreams. You can have magical relationship and magical, perfect, just thrilling lives. And make sure you claim yours and make yours, and don't have any forces that are negative, that bring you down. Circle yourself with people who bring you up, elevate you, encourage you, nurture you, and make you feel safe, secure, and empowered. And if you don't have that, how do you get your superpowers, which are right in you, out to all the rest of us in the world?
Yep. And I think it's also important to know that it doesn't mean that you're not going to get criticized. Because also
always get criticized when you express superpowers, because those that are in compromise and regret and resignation, they are jealous and feel the light of you, and your superpowers makes them see that they should have done it. They should have done it when they were their age. Forgive them. Don't fight them. Don't argue with them. Just say, they're not my tribe, because you always have the circle that supports you. And children, get your circle that always supports you. Guard the circle, and then guard the guards. And all those that your light makes give out a negative, let it hit you without ever attaching, like a duck that has oil on it, so the water never sticks to it, and it never gets, so it can't float on water, it can't fly. So have your little self with a magical oil I give you, miracle oil, that protects your superpowers, and the negatives that come at you never stick to you, don't bother you, and never react, or just take it in and say, yes, all right, great idea. Thanks for giving it to me. But it rolls right off you. When you leave them, you bless them for being too stupid to know how much you love them. Because that's all it is. All the negatives are just too stupid to know how much you love them in a spiritual way. So find the people that are awake enough and they're smart enough. They know how much that you love them. And they love you back. And how many do you have from CO Space that love you back? Is it hundreds?
Thousands.
Thousands now, probably. It is over there.
And there's thousands of people that I love them so much, you know?
I watch you do it. You do it from stages now. You're speaking on, if you get Neva on a stage, any corporate place, fortune companies, I teach at the largest fortune companies, get Neva on your stage. If you see this and you're a mom that's an agent, get her out on the big stages. she's the hot one, and she is going to have her own television show. So the first ones that get it, boy, you're going to, because she's got an audience. It's growing all over the world. The kids are sharing it with everybody. It's going viral. I've never seen an explosion like this. This is like we just launched MTV. So that's why I say MTV ought to pick you up and put you on air.
Well, thank you.
Send this clip to him. Little flash drive. Because
Well,
I'm a television movie producer, award winning, and they know they're talking to a pro when I tell them. They'll see it in the show.
well, I believe that one day I definitely will have my own talk show, and I will
You're going to have a sitcom. They're going to put you in a scripted show. You can act, dance, sing. You'll get out there, but you'll have a talk show because you're an Oprah. You're under 10 years old as an Oprah, and you interview just like her. And you could do her time slot in the same afternoon and have 30 million watching every day. They wouldn't even believe it. You'd be on a bar stool with all the couch of all these guests, and you'd have the greatest show. Everybody be watching.
Aw, thank
All
you.
about superpowers. Everybody wants to see, how do I open up my superpowers? Because we all have them and we know it and we want to get them out. And so many of us have compromised or resigned, but it's never too late. You can, at 85, open your superpowers. You can open them next week. It can happen to you right now. What's the slogan? Do your dreams. The minute you decide to do your dreams, your superpowers unleash to all of us in all directions. That light comes out of you.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
And Bernie, so you know something that needs to happen? One,
We need to go to the beach.
yes, we definitely need to go to.
That's right.
And number two, we need to do Super Neva questions.
Okay.
So
well,
what's going to happen?
Questions. I get to ask you.
You can, but how it normally works is I'll ask you questions as fast as I can, and you'll answer them as fast as you can.
Okay, we can do either way, but remember, a lot of your listeners don't know that you're intuitive, gifted, that you just came from Burning Man. Very few children your age are in there, going to Burning Man regularly. You had people come that are some of the billionaires, millionaires, people that shake the world, coming over, giving you offerings to have readings. They named you the reincarnated Oracle of Delphi. You were up to midnight doing readings for some of the planet shifters, stunned when they left at what you brought to them. So they don't know your gifts. So we can do it either way, but probably nobody would know what I know about you to interview you on your superpowers. Do you want to do it that way or the other way?
Well, which way do you want to do it?
You're the Oracle, you tell me. I'd like to do it with you.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, everybody's upset a lot because of politics right now. Everybody's fighting, competitive, etc. What can you tell them that will calm them down and help them return to the values of Americans, what it means to be American, how we love this country, that all children feel themselves, and they don't have politics like that. So before they load you up with the ways to get hatred and competitive and divisions, and we're not respecting each other in disagreement, how can you tell to all of us that the children are going to do a better job? And so in politics, we don't need all this combat and this disrespect. And you guys don't like watching it on the news every night.
Well, I think that everyone has their own way, but also remind people, love yourself and remember to give that love to others.
And when you don't, you're really stepping out of your superpower, aren't you?
Yep.
There's no superpower when you're going and throwing mud on somebody. I mean, you're really taking your own superpower away. Someone can disagree with you, but you have respect for their light and you don't take it personally. Yeah, I think you have respect for everyone. I always say all the presidents are doing the best they possibly know how, and we deserve to respect them. Focusing hatred on any of our leaders is bad for our culture, who we stand for as a nation, and we should be united. Whether we disagree with the policy, we don't disrespect our leadership in Congress or any elected official. And I lobby there, and I think all our leaders are doing the best they can. You don't understand their sacrifice, and you don't understand their efforts. And I think this kind of divisional media it's the lower part of what we're capable of. We are so able to get a better part. We can do a better job. So you kids help us do that as we go forward. Let's make America what it can be again with kid power and superpower, where we are the hope and the promise of the world because we deserve it. And I think we can get back there, and we should do it all over again.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah,
And
I love this country.
So do I. And I love all the people in it, even if I have never met them, and I never will. So, Bernie, I also have a question for you. It's going to be a random question. But my question is, would you rather have a pet unicorn or a pet dragon?
Well, first of all, there are all sorts of dragons. So the luck dragon that we have in the never-ending story, I'd probably rather have that dragon. You know what I'm saying? So than a unicorn. You know what I'm saying? But they're both magical and all have messages to give us. But I think I'd rather have the luck dragon and be traveling with the luck dragon to all of the possibilities to make sure the never-ending story doesn't end.
True.
Yeah.
Because if it's the never-ending story and it ends, it's basically just a lie.
Well,
it's the never-ending story. It can't end.
Yeah, and so the lie can destroy us. And what we need to do is get back to the truth of loving ourselves and loving each other. And we can do a better job of that anytime we want. And we've got to get rid of using the emotions of hatred and violence and warfare to sell mindless crap. We need a different model. So there can be plenty of money for media, but they don't need to necessarily express the midbrain responses and magnify what's worst about us instead of magnifying what's best about us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Bernie, sadly, we have to wrap up.
Okay.
But really fast, before we do, can you remind people one more time where they can go to find out more about you?
I'd love you to go to ceospace.net for networking. Look at a film, a video. There are videos for mom, dad, and children, and by the most famous people in the world, the thought leaders that you haven't had on here yet that have hundreds of millions, billions, founders of Chicken Soup, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Secret, all these superstars on our website. And just go click and enjoy a beverage, and it'll change your income, change your life, change your future, because we transform everything. So if you're looking for that, we're number one by third-party press 5 years in a row. The click will change everything.
Yep. And again, go check it out because Bernie's amazing and everyone at CEO Space is. So would you like to join me in the sign-off?
I would like to join you in the sign-off. I've watched everybody else and I haven't been ever able to do it.
Okay. Remember, kids, we all have superpowers and we can change the world.
Now, I want to do it with you just one more time, so say it again.
Okay. Remember, kids, we all have superpowers, and we can change
the world. And we will. We will. Together. We're going to change the world because you're watching this. We're going to change the world. You. It's called to you. You're going to change the world. Keep watching. Spread the word. Viral this. Your superpower has to go all over the world. Every kid has to tune in. So make Neva the number one show in the world. You click it to all your friends.
Oh, well, thank you, Bernie.
Dohrmann, I so approve this message.
Well, thank you, Bernie, for coming on, and I love you.
I love you. I'm your backup dad.
Okay, you are.